Hello and welcome. I'm Vijay Srinivasan and this is Talking Sense with Srini. It's May 4 and we are the fag end of the counting day. The results coming in are nothing short of historic from all those 5 states. In Tamil Nadu, actor-turned politician Vijay of the Tamil Nadu is rewriting the political rule book. In Kerala, the Congress is staging a historic comeback. In West Bengal, BJP has delivered a landslide victory. In Assam, Himanta Biswa Sarma holds firm, keeping the northeast orange. And in Puducherry, the NDA is clinging to power in a fiercely contested union territory. Together, these 5 verdicts tell us something profound about where India's democracy is headed. 2 states have reaffirmed their faith in incumbent governments, signaling continuity and approval of performance. One has chosen the familiar path of alternation, returning to its cyclical political rhythm. But in Tamil Nadu and West Bengal, the story is far more disruptive. These verdicts may mark one of the most dramatic political breakthroughs in recent Indian electoral history, redefining how new forces can emerge and reshape entrenched landscapes. Joining us to decode all of this is our editor-in-chief, S. Srinivasan.
Yeah, hello Vijay. Yeah.
Tamil Nadu is currently leading over 100 seats as we record this right now, and the Dravidian titan, the DMK and the AIADMK are fighting for the second spot. What made Tamil Nadu voters trust a new entrant? Somebody who has got no governance track record.
Yeah, certainly it's a big question which everybody today would be mulling over, especially the opposition now which is both DMK and AIADMK, because it appears that TVK will eventually form the government. And now it's certainly a very positive vote for TVK. It is not as if they got any negative vote, it's a completely positive vote, but the entire landscape, last 60 years, the dominance of two Dravidian parties, AIADMK and DMK, has in a way come to an end today. So it's been a pretty long run. Probably now people felt that it requires a change, especially the first-time voters, the Gen Z and the millennials. I think people basically below the age of 40 probably looked at the whole politics in a very different landscape, different lens probably, and they wanted a change, and that's what we see today. And it's been sudden, gripping, and has left many politicians, MLAs, stranded. I think in the ruling cabinet of DMK, a lot of big guys, big guns have lost, including the chief minister.
That's right.
M.K. Stalin, he has lost from his constituency. There are a number of other casualties. About half the cabinet is wiped out. So this clearly shows that this particular, storm, cyclonic storm, if I may call, because Tamil Nadu is a coastal area and people here are very familiar with cyclones. And when the cyclone starts gathering dark clouds, you really don't know how, when it actually has a landfall, is going to devastate things on its path.
That's right.
And that's what it was a week ago. The politicians are all wondering how it may turn out, because there was a lot of guessworks that probably TVK will cut AIADMK votes. Some people will say.
And even the exit polls actually suggested it's going to be in favor of M.K. Stalin, except one outlier poll, which we discussed in our last episode.
Exactly. So there were a lot of speculations. So, everybody found it pretty tough to gauge the damage it would cause, the extent of damage TVK would do. And it now turns out it was a pretty serious storm.
Mm-hmm.
And that has now, brought TVK very close to par. They are, I think, short of 10 to 12 seats.
That's right.
Now, the next story is how they're going to manage those seats.
But who will they now be aligning with?
Yeah, it's a good question. Nobody knows, because still the counting is on, and we are talking of trends. I think by late night, all this should be clear. So where is that they may find? We can do some intelligent guess. Most probably the alliances, which are pre-poll alliances, both Secular Democratic Alliance, which is DMK led, and NDA, National Democratic Alliance, which is BJP, basically AIADMK led.
Yeah.
BJP kind of trying to be its head. These alliances, the possibility of them breaking now.
Mm-hmm.
Most probably the DMK alliance could break, because one of the important constituents, Congress party, which has probably got lead in 5 seats, has been saying even before, a section of the party, especially the younger generation, have been saying that they should have allied with TVK, but that didn't happen because I think the old guards prevailed and they wanted to go with the DMK, looking at larger national politics and the compulsions of India alliance, but that clearly didn't work out. So maybe Congress may approach with their 5 seats, 4 or 5 seats. Then the left parties could, but these are all wild speculation. We really don't know what is the preference of Vijay, and whether he wants to pick people from this alliance, DMK, or he wants to go and look for partners in AIADMK alliance.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be for the first time in the history of Tamil Nadu, politics has moved away from Poyas Garden or in any central part of Chennai to Panay, the outskirts in the East Coast Road. So, but I want to ask you about Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, who has lost in Korattur to a TVK candidate again. If you really see the last 5 years, there's been lots of free schemes, and he comes out with a strong Dravidian base, but what went really wrong with the DMK this time?
That's again a very good question, because on the face of it, it appeared as if he had a decent run. Stalin was always visible. Almost every third day he would announce some new schemes or something new.
Absolutely.
He was a man on the move, constantly inaugurating, talking to people. He was in touch. And he was constantly giving a pushback to the center on various issues. Especially on delimitation, which is the latest one thought that he's going to really encash this episode. The language row, the center-state relation, which basically meant the distribution of resources between the state and the center, and individual stories like aims not yet taking shape in Tamil Nadu, or railway lines or metro lines. He has been taking up all these issues. Besides, he has rolled out a number of welfare programs. The last one, in last 1 month, he nearly distributed 9,000 rupees in 3 months. And then for women also, free bus ride scheme. Many such things he brought in. And whenever there is a crime occurred, in Tamil Nadu, by the way, is related to comparison to all other states, has less number of, the crime rate is less. It's not a widespread, but yeah, there are episodic instances, individual instances where there have been serious crimes, and those issues were magnified by the opposition, especially AIADMK. But the thing which TVK sharply pointed out was the arrival of Udayanidhi Stalin into the scene, and they did say that it was dynastic politics, family rule, corruption. That's another issue which TVK kept raising. I think beyond all this, beyond the performance of DMK, how they did or what they didn't do, what appears is a certain tiredness in Tamil Nadu over the competitive Dravidian politics. And probably people were looking for a change, and Vijay came in perhaps as a fresh breath of air for them. But I must say that they have taken a kind of a big chance, because for all we know, Vijay is a very unknown factor even now.
Absolutely.
Nobody really knows how he may govern. He is a film star, an actor with a huge fan following. That's all we know about him. And what all we see him doing on the screen, cellular screen, it may not be true what he may actually do physically, and those aspects still have to be seen. But again, here I would say the more interesting question would be, when did that change came? When did people actually decide that they should vote for Vijay? And that's a very important question. If I may wind back to what happened, if you recall, 2024 he launches his party. Subsequently, he did one conference of his party, and there was a huge crowd.
That's
and
in
it was very
Vikramandi,
clear
correct.
in Vikramandi. It was very clear that it was unmanageable, and a lot of people fainted because of lack of amenities like drinking water and other things. And there was a lot of failures in systems, arrangements, all those things happened. So there was a question mark whether he can actually organize. Then subsequently he did another conference that again was chaotic but went through slightly better. But what really was the turning point was what happened in Karur, where 41 people died who were actually waiting to see their hero. And as his his bus was rolling into the city, there was a stampede, and a lot of people died after his after his speech. When he was about to roll out, this accident happened. So he was, in a way, there was a period of lull where he didn't come out. He was in a state of shock, but he managed to come out of that. He did. There was the expectation that he would face some cases, and he did. He went to Delhi twice to face CBI. He came back, but I think once they gauged that people have overcome that situation, then again they started their gradual campaign. I think media also started sensing it very gradually. Uh, since the media is very much influenced by Dravidian politics, that's what they have seen all these decades, 6 decades to be precise. So, but they did say gradually the things started coming out in papers that he may be a disruptor, he may actually be a kind of a spoiler. Mm-hmm. That's how the narrative started. But after some time, that narration changed. In next few weeks, you could see that people started, they have started taking the newspapers more seriously, and that they started saying that actually it could be a triangular contest. The moment they said it's become a triangular contest, I think that's where the game had begun to change. Because the bipolar politics of state, once it took a serious shape of a triangular one, and that's where the question arose, whose vote is he going to seriously cut? Gradually the projections begin to go up, and from 8 to 10% votes, people have begun to speculate of 18 to 20% vote, but there still nobody believed that he could cross the threshold of 34-35%, which would have really brought him huge benefits. And that's what seemed to have happened. If you look at even the data is not final, but if you look at whatever data we have got so far, TVK has garnered 34.79% vote share.
That's right.
Which is nearly 35%. And from zero, he got 35%. And DMK, which was 37.7 in the previous election, 2021, comes down to 24.14. So they have lost nearly 9% votes.
And close to 35% is what MGR also got in 19.
Yeah. So, no, more than 10% vote actually. So nearly 13-14% vote. Then AIADMK again 33%, it drops to 21%. So all these votes, the drop in their vote share, obviously all have gone to TVK.
Yeah.
And he managed to cross that threshold, and therefore, he has got this massive victory. And also the victory, I think it is more concentrated in Greater Chennai region, where he could corner almost, if you go by the leads, 32 out of 34 seats in that region, and with a vote share of 45.4, humongous. So, which is basically a stronghold of DMK. Mm-hmm. He penetrated that, and he did very well in other urban areas. But he also performed well in rural areas. It is not as if rural areas he was doing badly, but the better performance was in urban areas. So, and it's more spread out in east, in west, in north, and south and southeast. In all these regions of Tamil Nadu, he has managed to win seats, and that makes it a remarkable election, and also a kind of wave which most of us fail to see.
And with this victory for Vijay, you think the Dravidian duopoly, AIADMK and DMK, now comes to an end?
Look, in politics you can never say anything very decisively. Using these terms, and especially to these parties which are very well entrenched Dravidian parties, both DMK and AIADMK. As you know yourself, DMK's origin goes, nearly over
Close to 100 years.
100 years because
Justice Party turned
Justice
out to be
Party, all those things. Similarly, if you look at AIDMK, it has a
50
long
years.
history. So you can never, and these, they have actually managed to keep a vote share of each about 24-21%. It's a substantial vote share. So they still will play a role, and they have some, strongholds like AIDMK still has western parts of, Tamil Nadu as a stronghold. So you cannot say, you cannot write off, but they will continue to fight. One has to see what kind of strategy they adopt post this election, because they will wait for an opportunity where Vijay will start making mistakes. That's what their entire, concentration would be. They will wait after a lull period. They will start getting onto their act, but they certainly will have to craft a completely new strategy. I would say especially the threat is for AIDMK, because if this government really begins to do well, it'll start gobbling up these two parties, and I think the bigger threat is for AIDMK.
All right. Shifting focus to West Bengal. Once again, a historic mandate there. This time for the Bharatiya Janata Party, and Mamata has been decimated completely. In line with the exit poll predictions, we've been saying that the exit polls might as well downplay Mamata's role and all that, but that hasn't happened this time. So, what do you think is next for Mamata? Somehow she has been able to retain her Bhawanipur seat and is going to the next chief minister.
Yeah, like most likely, that's what it is. I think the BJP headquarters celebrations might begin.
Prime Minister is also to address.
Yeah, so those kind of things will happen. It's a massive victory for BJP, because they've been looking at West Bengal for quite some time, and this completely changes the landscape of the north, with the major state West Bengal under its belt now. BJP has got complete command over, and then another good return in Assam. They have a very good grip over politics in the east. They already have very powerful grip in west, with Maharashtra and Gujarat in their pockets, and most northern states are also fallen for them. Delhi was the last thing, Bihar was another one. So if you look at the map of India,
21 states are ruled by BJP.
Exactly. So basically their sweep is...
They still have Himachal, they still have Jharkhand there.
Yeah, only few.
That's right. But I think northeast, I think it's got an orange.
Yeah, so one or two places are left. So largely, they got this thing over the almost all the regions of India. But your particular question was the future of Mamata Banerjee.
That's right.
Now, Mamata has been a fighter all along. But this must be a really very heavy blow to her, and she is past 70s. Her age is over. She's in her 70s. So how she now fights back is a thing which we need to watch very closely. As reports came in as we were coming for this discussion, I saw TV channels flashing that she was visiting polling booths. She's still accusing that there has been some kind of a malpractice which is going on, and she is kind of not yet adjusted to the fact that it's a mandate against her. But I would say here that beyond the mandate, because it's a big mandate which BJP has got, probably it clearly shows there's a huge anti-incumbency. Like in Tamil Nadu, there's a certain anti-incumbency in West Bengal also. Because people were really tired of the TMC goons who were probably collecting haftas. So they wanted to get rid of them and want to make life more peaceful. So probably they have opted for. But there is certainly some help which SIR could have also given to BJP for their victory, because about 29-30 lakh votes.
No, I think it's
voters,
9 million.
No, the overall were about 9 million. Who were found, ineligible. Out of that, when they removed, the number of people who had died or transferred here and there, about 27 lakhs, nearly 2.7 million people, were still at the adjudication stage, which means there are various errors which are called as logical discrepancies, which could be a minor spelling mistake or picture missing, those kind of things. Those things were not adjudicated till the last day of polling. Those issues were continuing. Those people were again left out of the polling, which is a bit of injustice for them. So many such things have happened. So that's also in a way would have kind of been a factor in these elections. But clearly, the mandate is against Mamata, against her 3 continuous, governance in West Bengal.
In the God's own country, Kerala, UDF, in some positive news for Rahul Gandhi, is registering a stellar comeback. With left losing its soul state, what's the future for the
I think again Kerala is a very interesting story. This result was more or less known that UDF will come back to power. They normally goes through
alternating governments.
Alternating governments. There was an exception last year when
last time when Pinarayi Vijay won.
LDF came for a second term with Pinarayi at the helm. I think Pinarayi is also aging, and his term, a third term, which people are probably not ready to give. But a bigger factor is, though BJP hasn't done very well as they expected, I think they got only 2 or 3 seats, but they expected.
Last time it was none.
So 2 seats. But the thing here is that there seems to be some kind of consolidation of minority Christian and Muslim votes in favor of UDF, which is a traditional vote, and some kind of if I could say, breach which has happened in the Hindu votes, which is largely held by the left parties, specifically CPM, and that's a new trend in Kerala politics. As we said, talked in the previous discussion, that identity politics has taken deep roots in Kerala as well. So I'm sure that BJP has taken this as very good signal and a warning bell for the left, because now they're out of power all over India, and they should really be taking this extremely seriously. The story now is that who is going to be the next chief minister in Kerala, because that's a big question. V.D. Satishan, he led the whole campaign. He fought the left from the front, and he even challenged that in case this UDF has to lose his election, he will take kind of a political sannyas. That's a kind of a promise he made. But then whether he will be made a CM is a big question. As usual, there are too many contenders in Congress for that post. So one has to see who ultimately gets that.
The Congress High Command, as you call it, is not in favor of KC Venugopal. That's reportedly what we hear. We don't know how that's going to pan out.
Let's see how it goes. Yeah.
All right. So, Himanta Biswa Sarma. So again, this is again in line with expectation of the exit polls there. He's won for a record second consecutive time. This is the third consecutive time for the Bharatiya Janata Party in Assam. So, it seems like the Hindu consolidation and polarization has worked tremendously in his favor.
Yeah, so that's the conclusion everybody would be arriving at, because, look at the way opposition has lost, especially Congress party. Gogoi, who was leading the Congress charge, he himself lost.
Yeah.
And imagine, he was a MP from that region, and he lost from one of the assembly constituencies from which he contested.
And he also comes from an influential family, isn't he?
Yeah. His father was the chief minister, and Himanta was under him. So it's really in 2 years, things have changed. In 2024, he was elected as an MP, and he came beating all odds. And here now you see him completely lost out in the race. And it's clear polarization tactics of Himanta which has worked, because he has, in an interview very clearly, which I explained earlier, had said that, he won't seek the votes of Muslim minorities in his state, and he can do without it. Of course, his argument was convoluted, but he said, I am not going to ask for their votes. I will do, welfare for them, whatever neglected things for them, I'll achieve and then seek their votes. That's how he framed it. But clearly, it was a polarization attempt, and that seems to have worked heavily in his favor.
The humble union territory of Puducherry and AINRC is back. This is again in line with expectations. But you think the Congress and the DMK could have improved if they had some better coordination on the ground?
Well, even if they tried hard, and see, their relationship soured because of Puducherry was also one important issue. Congress was trying to tell DMK that, look, you are the major partner in Chennai, in Tamil Nadu. We are a minor partner. We do agree, and therefore we agree to your terms. But agree to our terms in Puducherry, where we are the major partner and you are the minor. But DMK was not in agreement to that, and they wanted to have more candidates. So therefore, the alliance broke.
Ultimately, it cost both of them.
Yeah, it cost
in
both
both
of them.
states.
See, the bigger point here is that the opposition parties are still bickering, and they are not seeing a bigger enemy who when he was on their doorstep. Now the enemy has actually ousted them from their respective houses. That's the stage where we are in. Puducherry is again a very good example. Even if they haven't managed to win, they could have managed to at least keep Rangaswamy on check. But this didn't happen. So BJP had another sweet victory there.
Okay, so one last question there, sir. What's the major takeaway from these 5 state elections? This seems like more of a teaser for the 2029 Lok Sabha election, which is just 2.5 years, 3 years to go for that. It seems like the going is going to be getting difficult for the India bloc there.
Exactly. See, in 2024, before 2024 election, it appeared as if BJP on its own will get 2/3 majority, but there was a big setback for them because they couldn't get a simple majority on their own. They had to have help. They had to take help of alliance partners. But subsequently, if you see, I think BJP managed to get its act together. Almost all the assembly election, I think all assembly election which subsequently held, they have won. They won Haryana. They won. Then of course the last one was.
I think Madhya Pradesh, Haryana,
Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan. Then they came to Bihar, and after that now West Bengal. Wherever they are going, they are converting their this thing into big victories. Earlier, so Maharashtra too. So they have been winning everywhere, and all the elections they've been winning in series. And if you look at map of India, like you said, they are now controlling nearly 21 states. So this is really bad news for the opposition. It appeared as if opposition is getting its act together, but they have not been able to put up a united front. So what BJP was earlier saying in 2014 that we'll make this nation Congress Mukt Bharat, which means they will they'll get the nation, the country will see no Congress party. From there, the way things are going, it could be with the fall of 2 prominent regional parties, and here not just one regional party, it's also 2 Dravidian majors here, and TMC. Things are not very bright for the opposition. So 2029 is still 3 years away. If opposition has any sense, this is the time they should start thinking how they should come together and do a combined united fight, because it's very important for a democracy to thrive that there is a live active opposition in the country.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Very insightful talking to you. Thank you.